morning, we start our series, Picture Perfect, Picture Imperfect, Picture Unperfect, whichever way you want to say it. First, before we even start it, I'm going to go through a little bit of a cool little thing that stood out to me about Jesus. There's many things that do. It's Jesus in the encounter with Matthew. Jesus' encounter with Matthew, you know the story. The tax collector dude, he's sitting at a booth and he's looking at Jesus and says, I want to come and follow you. And Jesus talks to him, and then all of a sudden he becomes a follower of Christ, right? So in Luke describes him as being a tax collector, Matthew. In Mark, he describes him and his pedigree, his family. Like, this is where his bloodline comes from. This is Matthew. So Luke describes him as a tax collector, is what he was. And in Mark 2:4, Mark describes him, oh, this is his family bloodline. This is where he came from. And then what's so beautiful in Matthew, we see that Jesus just sees a man in a tax collector booth. Jesus saw him. Mark saw Matthew's family. Luke, he saw Matthew's job. And Jesus saw Matthew. And he sees you this morning. He sees you in everything. Else doesn't matter. He sees you, and he says, that's picture perfect. Can you pray with me this morning? Father, I thank you for just pouring this word into me. I just pray that I'm an open vessel and that just remove me, God. Remove me. Anything that I'm feeling, any stresses, anything that I might be bringing to the table, God, I just ask that you just remove it, Father, and this will just be you. And it will be you, and I just thank you that you give us the opportunity to meet together. Father, let this message be one that goes into the deepest places of our hearts and challenges us and launches us towards what you have called us to be. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Sermon series, part 1, the calling. Starting off with this Picture Perfect series, I've been excited about it because I've been contemplating it for a little bit, like tossing it, like, what am I gonna preach about? And I know I told you guys I was gonna preach about like stories in the Bible and go into detail, which I'm still gonna do. Just hasn't happened yet. It's gonna happen. I just keep getting all this other stuff, and like God has been pouring into me. There's a couple of books I've been reading, and there's one that's really been really powerful in my life, and it's pretty much talking about like the imperfect pastor, and it's just so inspiring. So I was like, God, I kind of want to like dig on that a little bit. And he's like, I actually want you to. That's why you have the book. Like, I want you to read more. I want something to come from it. I don't want it just to be something that you read and put somewhere else. I'm like, okay. And so it was on my heart. This Picture Imperfect series. So we're going to be going through. There's 4 parts to it. Today starts 1, the calling. Well, at this point, you've been coming to church for a while. Some of us are new to church. Some of us aren't. Some have been going for a long time. Some of us stopped going, came back. Doesn't matter where you're at right now in your life. Just know this, your calling is still the same. Your calling is still the same. You remember, some of you guys, we were walking around the Fiesta Days this week with a Polaroid, and we were taking pictures of people, right? I remember Polaroids, and I remember what it looked like when you were like jacked up in a picture and there was nothing you could do about it. You know? How many of you guys remember when you couldn't, like, retake it? Right? Young kids nowadays, it's an illusion, okay? All right? It's an illusion, okay? Because you're looking good in every picture. You know there was about 100 before that one. Okay? Right? But the Polaroid, all you had to do was shake that thing, and whatever came up, came up. And you had to take it and leave it, or you just had to deal with it, right? Like, Picture Perfect wasn't established then. So take the picture, and I mean, I'll go back to like some of my baby albums. You know, I'm looking through the pictures and I'm thinking, what? Why did you save this picture? Throw it away now. Like, my head is huge, and I got a big forehead. So like, if you imagine me as a baby, it was just like barely any hair, just a bow, right? I'm looking at these pictures like, man. Nowadays we'd be like, smile, okay, smile, okay, no, smile. And you have the ability to wait for the perfect picture, and then you take it, and it's a beautiful picture. You have no pictures of your ugly picture kid. You have no pictures that you can clown on your kids about. saying. I mean, you might have a little bit, but where are all the pictures where you can all stand together and laugh at each other like, man, you look rough in that picture? Nobody, anyone following me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What about like, old photos, yearbooks, scrapbooks? You're like, oh my gosh, like why is it in there? Right? So at one point in our lives, we didn't have the ability to have all these like filters and all this other stuff that we could put on pictures and make everything look bright and awesome and great. We didn't have the ability to go back and take a picture. It was just like in the moment, take the picture. That's the memory. Here it is. Process it. You go to Kodak. This is back in the day, young people. Okay, I know. You go. You get your film developed. They give it to you. You have that moment with the retailer person that looks at you, and you look at them like, oh, there's some bad ones. I see it in your eyes, right? So they hand the envelope over to you, you take it, and you know there's something there you don't want no one else to see. You take it, and you're like, thank you. You go, you don't wait till you get home, you get your car, you open that thing up, and you start looking at them, and you're like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They just saw that, I just made eye contact with that person, right? How many of you guys are following me on those things? Right, those little click ones? Right? You turn them in, you're like, why? There's like one good picture out of 24. You hold on to it for your life. Can I get like 7 copies of that one? Right? So at one point in life, we didn't have the ability to make everything right. But we still enjoyed. We still enjoyed taking pictures together. Actually, I think people were a little bit more at ease taking pictures. Now it's like the ladies always put the side hip and move it out. Like there's this like look, and I do it too. I mean, I have the face. I know when it's picture mode, everyone goes with it like, right? I have a happy face when I take pictures, Robbie. I'm just saying. Oh no. Okay, so you take pictures and everyone goes into this mode. Like we've created this mode now, right? How do you guys know what I'm talking about? The selfie mode or the taking a picture mode. Everyone just goes into it. Was it like that when you had Polaroids? No, everyone was like this. Because you knew there was nothing that was happening right there in that moment to show you that it was ugly. It was going to happen later. At one point, we were okay with things happening later. At one point, we were okay with going through the motion and having to wait for an outcome. Somehow, we've got to a place now where it's like, I want it perfect right now. I want it right now. As a matter of fact, I want it so perfect right now. I have the perfect pose for you every time, and every shot, no matter what shirt you have on, it's the same.
No.
Yeah. I want to help us come together today, and let's try to discover joy in our imperfections. What does that look like? The picture perfect doesn't always look so perfect, but when God looks at us, He sees the picture perfect. But it starts with us. It starts with us being willing to go ahead and discover joy in our imperfections. It starts with us being able to actually have patience in our imperfections. It starts with us where it actually becomes something that we're like, okay, I know that this is not the best thing I've ever taken, but I will do a better one next time. It starts with you to say, God, I know that you have things in my life that are supposed to be certain ways, and it starts with me saying, God, I want things to be better in my life, and I know that when you look at me, you don't see all this other stuff, you see me. Help me see me through you. It starts with you. It starts with us. It starts with change. Real change. Real change is a new life changing. It's a new life happening. A lot of people say, well, I'm just trying to turn another leaf, trying to turn a new leaf in my life. That's what I'm doing. Well, it's a little bit deeper than that. The actual term turn new leaf comes from like the 16th century when there was actually books and like the pages were called leaves. All right, now if you would turn the new leaf, you would go on to the next page, right? So like people would check on that adaptation of like, I'm turning the page in my life. It's something new. But see, when we come to God, there has to be a complete surrender where we're saying, I don't want to just turn one page, God. Take me out of this chapter. Bring me to the next. Because this chapter has been going on for too long, and I don't want to just turn a new leaf. I don't want to just turn one page. God, take me to the next chapter. I want a new life. And when we come to Christ, He says He makes all things new. When we come to Him, it's like He's saying, I have something new for you. When you read a chapter in a book, it's pretty much the same story until something changes. So if we go on in our life living with this expectation for change to happen, and we're only turning one page at a time, we're missing out on the fact that God has a new chapter intended for you. Interesting fact. A chapter in a book, your life. Metaphor, use it. We do it sometimes. Like, don't always judge a book by a cover. Sort of do it, because when we walk through Barnes & Nobles, we pick the book that we like. The way it looks. In our life, we do the same thing. God creates something over us, puts something over us to make it look like our book is well put together. But the pages aren't changing. The things aren't changing on the inside. So what happens with real change? There are 4 factors that I want to go through. And they are these. One is desire. You can write them down right now if you want. Desire has to change in you, okay? For you to actually thrive in the joy of imperfections, for you to actually turn a new chapter in your life, well, you have to have desire to do it first. A surrender. It's got to be a little bit different than, God, just take little bits and pieces from my life and do things the way you should. Save all this, and pretty soon I'll surrender that to you as well. But in the Bible, it says he makes all things new. So if it's something that's all things new that is made, then it has to start over. There's something that has to begin. Something has to end. Desire is number 1. Number 2, recovering humanity. Acknowledging your flaws. I'm not saying acknowledging them and like embracing them, like that's just who I am and that's just how I'm going to be. I've been like this for a very long time. It's not changing. No, it's saying, man, there's some things inside of me that I need to change. I see it, I recognize it, but not only do I recognize it, I acknowledge it, and I'm going to pursue with every ounce inside of me to change that up in me. To acknowledge flaws in us. We all have them. We all have imperfections. But if you really want to go to the place where you're actually finding joy in your imperfections and you're actually striving your relationship with God, then you have to get to a place where you acknowledge your flaws and say, I have to fix them. I have to run after these things. My voice is a little hoarse from your graduation. I'm over this graduation season. By the way, the picture that was posted was not okay. And I'm just going to bring that back into this. I wish I did it like a nice whoo instead of ah, because that picture is just like I was like a hamburger is coming. I should have posted it, but or nice whoo in pictures, guys. I can't get that picture back. I can't retake it. Right? I can't change that up. Real change starts with a new life. 2 Corinthians 5:17, the Apostle Paul, he says this, therefore, if anyone is Christ, he is a new creation. The old things have passed away. Look, the new things have come. New things. The very heart of your Christian faith revolves around change. It comes from change. It comes from something new happening in your life. When you say I'm a Christian, you have to expect that things are going to be different. Right? When you say, God, come into my life, change my heart, do what you need to do to make me clean, to make me be who I'm supposed to be, you have to expect change is going to come from it. It can't just be turning a new leaf. It doesn't work that way. Because we know that one page in a chapter is still that chapter. We have to say, God, change my chapter. Desire. Understanding flaws, embracing humanity. We all are jacked up one way or the other. We all have issues. All of us at some point lay in our bed thinking, can I have a new life? Can we do this one over? How did I mess that up? I wish I could go back 5 years and do that differently. We all have regrets. We all have different issues. We all come to the table. Some of us, we just don't even share it. Talked about that last week. Desire. It will swing you in one direction or another. The desire to really start a new life with Christ is so huge. Because desire will swing you one way or the other. It will swing you over here or it will swing you over there. Your desire will bring you where you're at. What are you desiring? Have you surrendered your desires to Christ? Have you surrendered your life to Him? Think about that for a little bit. The Garden of Eden. That apple looked real ripe, right? So Eve says, that apple is looking nice. I'm going to go and eat it. So the desire that she had to eat the apple outweighed the desire that she had to be obedient to Christ. Your desires will swing you from one direction to another. So you are living in your desires, regardless of where they're taking you. You have to first recognize, my desires, God, I want them to line up with you. I want to surrender to you. I want this to be about you. I don't want to just come to you and act as though you're not going to change things in me. Like, don't come to church and don't begin a relationship with God and expect you to be the same person. He's going to change things. It might get a little uncomfortable at first because we don't like things to change. Does that make sense? We don't like it. We like routine. We're habitual people. We like things to be the way we like it. We like things to be the way we like them to be. We don't want things to change. That's where I put my toothbrush. I don't want it anywhere else. Don't touch my toothbrush. But when God comes in, he does something in us, and things begin to change, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, God, I really want to serve you. I really want things to be for you, but God, please stop touching those things that I really like. We got to get to a place where we desire things of Christ and be willing to change. I make things new. It says, behold, I make all things new. Are you willing to be at a place to say, I need a new life? I'm not just a page, but God, take this chapter and give me the next one. Change the process. Humanity. Working through your flaws is a process. Not one of you could just pray right now and be like, God, just make me clean, make me pure, make me be what you need me to be, and then you walk out here and you're just like, ta-da! Great, now everything's fine. No, it's a process. It means it's sacrifice. It's something that's going to have to happen in your life. You say, okay, I'm working through these flaws. I'm not just going to work through them. I'm not going to just acknowledge them, but I'm going to actually do something with like just a reverence of like, God, do something in me so to change this in me. I don't want to be this. It's accepting that we have them. We're human. Accept it. Believe it about yourself. But please don't walk around with a sign that says, I'm not perfect. Because that's already been established. I'm not perfect. We already know that. We saw the shoes that you were wearing. No, I'm playing. I'm joking. We know that already. That's already established. If you're perfect in here, please show me how to be. No one is. But in Philippians it says, man, I thought I've already obtained all of this. Chapter 3:12. But I press on towards the goal which Christ has for me. So these flaws, I acknowledge them, but I'm not going to just sit in them. I want something different out of my life. God, come in and change my chapter and not just a page. Change is a process, not a destination. Something that we have to work through. Philippians 1:6, I'm sure of this, that he who started a good work in you will carry it out to completion. Do you believe that? Do you believe it? Satan would like for us to walk around as if he doesn't exist. In the movie, it says that Satan's greatest trick he ever pulled was to convince the world he doesn't exist. And I believe that to be true still in the statement here. He would like for you to walk around as though you have everything together with a mask on, as if everything's great, and on the inside you are broken and in turmoil. He would love nothing more for you to act as though nothing is wrong, everything's fine. Why? Because it's a deceptive thing. It's something that only you know about. It's a self-destructing thing. It's something inside of you that says, I'm not perfect, but I don't even care anymore. Like I'm not. He doesn't even. How could he even love me? All these people think that I'm doing all these great things. It's a cover-up. Satan's greatest trick he ever pulled was convince the world he doesn't exist, and he's doing that in your life to where you think that everything is fine in your life because there's no way that Satan's bothering me. I don't think I'm even bothered by anything of like the enemy at all. Like there's nothing in my life that stands out at all that Satan could be doing to me. Matter of fact, is Satan really real? I mean, is that just a fairy tale? I don't know where that just came from. God just told me to say that part. Because some of us be going through the motion like, I love Jesus, but I really just have a hard time believing about Satan and hell thing. Like, if he loved us, like, why would he even have Satan? Right? Satan didn't start out that way. He was in heaven. Pride created Satan. And there's nothing more than what he would love from us is for us to go around pretending as though he doesn't exist in our lives. Just pretending as though everything's okay. Pretending as though we're fine. Everything's perfect on the outside. Real change happens when you actually look at yourself and say, I got things I need to work on. And running after it and doing it. And it's a process. It's not a destination. This week, my tire went flat, right? So I go outside. I'm rolling in my car. And it's kind of like leaning a little bit. I'm thinking, man, this car is like old school or something. Like something, I'm driving and all of a sudden it's just like unbalanced. And I'm feeling like, I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm just driving. I feel like I'm driving for a while on this flat tire, okay? People that are into cars, don't look at me like that. That's judgment. So I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, there's something wrong. So I get out, I look, and it's like flattened, right? So I go and I put air in it, and I'm driving again. Everything's fine. I'm like, maybe it was just some air came out. So no, actually I park the car, I go in the house, I come back out, and it's flat again. I'm like, what? I gotta get a new tire, man. I don't want a new tire. Oh no, I'll go to America's Tires. They just fix them, and that's awesome. If there's a nail, they'll fix it. I'll be good to go. So I go, I roll up, and I'm confident because I've had to do this before. So I go in, I'm like, so my tire probably has a nail in it. Is there a long waiting line? I don't know. Usually like, oh, you're with the Civic. I'm like, no, it's the green Camry outside. And he's like, okay, so we have this kind of like, rapport with each other. We're talking, and so well, let me go check it. So he grabs this thing. He's walking. I'm walking out to you like, okay, this is gonna be fast. Last time it took like 15 minutes. You guys are awesome. I'm all excited. So I get there. He's looking at it. He's like, I said, what? Well, looks like there's a little flap here, a little slice here in the wheel. Looks like you're gonna probably have to replace the whole thing. I said, wait a second. Wait. Let me think about this for a second. So I gotta change. Does that mean I gotta replace both tires to the imbalance thing? Well, yeah, that's probably recommended. I said, well, I probably won't be doing that. Let me think about it. Let's go look at the prices. So I go back in, and it was whatever. It was like $80 for a tire. And I'm thinking, I don't even like this car. So I said, give me a second, and let me get back to you about that. So I go back at the back where no one's looking. I go on Google. How can you patch a hole in your tire? Right? So I'm looking it up, and there's like these gimmicks and like these generic type things. Like, oh, and there's this like this spray you put on it. And I'm like contemplating this at this point. I'm like, okay, I could do this. I could totally just patch it up. So I go back to him. I said, I'm thinking I'm just gonna patch it up. He goes, and I looked at him. He looked at me. It was a moment. He's like, no, that wouldn't be safe. It's slice. I said, so you're saying it won't work if I cover it? No, I'm saying that it'll probably explode while you're driving. And I said, oh, so it's not a good idea. And he's like, no. I said, okay, well, all right, so I guess I'll buy the tire. So I bought the tire. So the moral of the story is this. You can't always patch things up on the outside and expect for there to be safe travel in your life. You can't always be at a place where you're like, I'll just cover this little spot up here. It's not the whole tire, it's just a little slice. If I could just cover that little air seeping out right there, no one will ever notice it, and we'll be able to drive again. Why do we ourselves not allow ourselves in a physical form go into a car that has a patched tire? Because it's dangerous. Because it's unpredictable. It could cause injury or harm, or even death maybe. But yet we do that in our lives. We take these little patches and we say, God, I'm just going to patch this little part up. I don't really want you to take it away from me. I want to still be who I am. But can you just patch that little part up right there and I'll just go on my merry way? We do that in our lives. And I hope this hits you pretty hard because it hit me while I was standing out there. I was thinking, man, God, you were like that. Like, I come to you sometimes and I'm like, God, I really don't want to change this in me. Can you just patch this part up but keep the same tire? Because I know it's going to cost me something if I get a new one. And I'm not real sure if I want to spend that much money on that. I don't know if I want it to cost me something. I don't even like my life anyway. My car, it's not that much value. It hasn't much value. Like, why would I want to give something like that? Why would I want to put that out? Is that making sense? Like, we do that in our lives. The car is like our lives, if we put it in an analogy. At some point, you have to be willing to say, God, take away the old and give me the new. I don't want to just patch up the old anymore. I want something new. He wants that for you this morning. He wants you to find joy in your imperfections. He sees you and he sees picture perfect. We're all flawed humans. Are you at a place where you're like crying out to God, saying, God, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want things to change. Are you at a place where you're on your knees saying, Father, come down, meet with me. Whatever you have to do, change it. Whatever I have to throw away, whatever I can get rid of, anything in my life, God, take it from me. I'm here. Noticing your flaws and asking God to come in and not just patch them, but replace the chapter. Change is letting go. grabbing a hold of and leaving home. Monkey bars. When you were young, you used to swing on a monkey bar. You remember that one kid that would just keep swinging on that one? They'd just be swinging because they were too scared of the next one. All of a sudden, they'd just fall. Right. Was that you? It was you. You were flying. You were flying across. Yeah. So that swing. What is it? What happens when you're on a monkey bar? You're swinging. The momentum shifts. You change. You go to one next to the next to the next. Right? You guys remember this. Monkey bars are pretty much everyone's experienced them. One to the next. And why do we keep doing it? That's the question. It has nothing to do with the sermon. Why do we go on a monkey bar over and over again? Why? You get calluses and all that kind of stuff. Is it that fun? I mean, is it that awesome? You're swinging in the air. You're susceptible to danger and hurting yourself, and you're just flying. Why is that so fun for us? I don't know. Kids, you have an answer in the back. Yeah, you have one. Do you love monkey bars? Yeah. Why? Yeah. Me either. I don't know, but you do it anyway. It's like if a monkey bar is at a playground, you're forced to go on it. Monkey bars, you're swinging from one to the next, swinging from one to the next. You're grabbing a hold of one thing, and you're going and grabbing the next. In order for you to go to the next one, you have to grab a hold of the one in front of it. This is one that's going to touch pretty hard. Okay? If you're not seeing things in your life changing, and you're still living in this muck, in this disappointment in life, and you're not finding joy in imperfections of life that God can give you, it could relate back to what you've grown up believing. The things that you brought from your life. There's this pastor from the South. He, let me drink a little water. Oh man, time's ticking. Whoa! Whoa, okay. We might have to do a part 2. Yeah. So you grow up in a home or whatever you grow up, okay? Apartment, whatever it might be. And the thing is, you adapt what you have there. That's what you learn. It's how you grow. So there's this pastor. He's from the South. He grew up with his grandparents. And then he decided to be a pastor. So he went to Chicago. That's where he was going to be a pastor. And the problem is, when he grew up with his grandparents, there was still like huge racism in the South, right? So he grew up with a grandfather who talked a lot about black people in a negative form. Didn't want anything to do with them. Didn't ever want to speak to them. Didn't let him speak to them when they went to a grocery store or when they walked around as during the colored-only era, and he would avoid them. He would hear negative things about them, and so he didn't want anything to do with black people. Not because he didn't care, it's just because he was taught that. Okay? He goes to Chicago, of all places. Right? He starts a church. He lives in this little shack apartment. Upstairs, underneath it, is a barbershop. It's a black barbershop. Right? So he's thinking, okay, I'm in my 20s now. I'm starting a church. I kind of want a more ethnically diverse church. He wanted to know what to do about it. He's in a neighborhood. God sent him to a neighborhood that was predominantly Puerto Rican and black. This white dude from the South, right? And so he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. We had maybe 5 people, and it's I want things to grow. I want things to change. So what happens next? He is walking around saying, God, I want things to be different. How do I get, some of these black people to come to my church? I don't understand. They're not coming. I'm putting out flyers. And then God was like, you have a house that's right above the barbershop that they are working in. Have you talked to them? And he's like, no, I haven't. Why? I'm a little uncomfortable about that. I don't really know. What do we have in common? How do I talk? And so everything from his past began to establish itself in his present. Everything that he was taught became something that he grabbed onto. So then God said, actually, I need you to go into the barbershop and sit there. Okay? And he's like, God, I don't know if I should do this. I don't really want to. It's out of my comfort zone. I'm not comfortable with it. But I'll do it. So he said with great, nervousness and, anxiety. Why would you have anxiety to sit into a barbershop with people? Because something was taught inside of you that you should feel uncomfortable. That you shouldn't want to. So he goes and he sits there, and all of a sudden he becomes friends with him. If you ever had a barbershop, everyone's talking. Right? So he comes in, and he said they don't treat him any different. They're cutting hair. It's taking a long time. It's hours, and everyone's laughing and talking, right? And all of a sudden he becomes really close with one of the barbers, and they become best friends. They begin to reach out to the community together. And he realized, oh my gosh, if I would have held on to everything that I was taught growing up, I would have missed this opportunity that God had for me. So some of us need to let go of everything that we were taught to find and understand and experience something new. There's a theory called big T theology and little t theology. Theology is the study of the Bible, the study of Christianity, the study of our faith, right? Big T is what you learn in church most of the time. It's what's, preached out of the Bible. And then there's little t. That's what you learned at home. That's where you learn in different environments. Your theology has to be shifted and changed a little bit if it's preventing you from loving people. It's so deep to think about. Jesus, he went around telling her, we got to love our enemies. We got to do that. Love your enemies. And that's a big T theology. That makes sense. But when it came down to it, the Samaritans showed up. Luke and James are like, what are you talking about? Them? You understand what they've done? How they are? That's little t. Are you guys getting that? Mm-hmm. Down for the big T stuff. Give me the good stuff. Yeah, I'll do all those things. When it comes down to the little bitty gritty things that we were taught and we learned, struggle with that. Give that up. If you want to encounter joy in your imperfections, know that it's going to take desire and surrender. Know that it's going to take embracing your flaws and running after them, so that pursuing them, so that they no longer remain what they are. And third, letting go of everything you ever knew. Everything. Not that I've obtained all this, but I press on towards the goal which Christ has for me. Not that I have it right now, but I press on for what God has for me. Reasons why people don't, and I'll close out here, and we'll start up next week. Because we're stubborn. Because we're trapped. How am I supposed to get out of this? This is kind of my life. Like, how am I supposed to change this? Are you telling me that the God of the universe that loves you so deeply and passionately couldn't take you out of the situation that you're trapped in? Don't let that be something that prevents you from living in joy. Because we're comfortable. We like it that way. Because we're afraid. Because change hurts. These are all lists. Different people were surveyed. It's like Family Feud. Number one answer. Because we lack power. Because something that causes us to be vulnerable does not seem very inviting. It's going to cause you to feel a little uncomfortable if you really want to go to a new chapter in your life. It's going to cause you to feel a little uneasy if you want to walk into something new in your life. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I'm going to close with this story. Homeless man was, I was in Davis at Whole Foods eating lunch outside. I was sitting there just kind of taking in the moment, just reading and just spending time with God. And this homeless man, he was laying on the floor, on the grass by the crosswalker. People were literally walking over him and walking past him. And he was just knocked out, asleep. I would say maybe 30 minutes later, he gets up, and I'm sitting there, and he's walking across the lawn. I'm watching him, I was zoned into him. He stands up, he starts walking towards Whole Foods. Dirty, mud, just his hair was a mess, and he just looked hopeless in a lot of ways. So I'm watching him walk across, and he blew my mind. He shook me. It's like God slapped me upside the head. He goes to Whole Foods. He opens the door. Before he steps in, there's a little mat on the ground. That little mat is for people to wipe their feet off of. When you go to Seattle. This man is full of dirt. He's not clean. His hair hasn't been combed. You can tell he hasn't really ate much. He's holding his pants up because they're falling down while he's walking. He goes to the door and he wipes his feet on the mat and then proceeds to go in. I don't know if that hits you like it hit me that day. But to watch this man who was homeless, who was sleeping on the ground, being walked past, walked over, stand up, and walk through all these people. I want you to picture it with me. There's these children that are playing around him. They're playing with this ball. They're laughing. The parents are joyous. Everyone around him. And he literally walked through a crowd of people. And all of this, and got to the front of this store and wiped his feet and went in. And it's like God is saying to me, do you think for 1 second did I love him any less. For 1 second. And then he said, Aaron, all of us have got to get to a place where even in our dirtiest, that we say, I will take the first step, Jesus. I will wipe my feet. I will just, even if it's just that, I will wipe my feet in honor of you. I won't allow myself to be like this anymore. I don't want to just put on this front. I don't want Satan to have me believing that everything is okay. He acknowledged the fact that he was dirty in that one moment. Understand this. This man was covered in mud and dirt. And before he walked into a public place, he wiped his feet. Do we do that in our lives where we go to God and say, God, I am a mess. But God, I will take the first step in wiping my feet before I come into your house. I will take the first step in wiping my feet before I talk to people. I will take that first step. So when I am encountering people, I am talking to people, God, they know that there's something happening in me. Like, God, let me be that person. I want you to picture this homeless man. I'm telling you right now, if you picture it, it's so deep, it'll wreck you. Standing up and wiping his feet. He comes out of the store about 15 minutes later. I'm sitting there, I got tears in my eyes. He comes out. He had went into the bathroom. He had taken water and he had put it on his hair and he kind of parted it to the side a little bit, cleaned it up. You could tell that he went in and he used the restroom and he came walking out still with the pants on that were baggy that didn't fit him. This is real life. This happened this week. And he walked away. And I watched him do that. And I thought to myself, God sees perfect picture. He sees it in you. And when we start to believe it, we begin to live in it. That man, whoever he was, when he came out, he might have been still dirty, but his hair was combed to the side. He walked a little bit better. He had his head up, and he was walking out of the store. Regardless of where you're at in your life, get to a place where you're willing to surrender it all. Say, God, I desire to move in the calling that you have for me. Second, understand that you are flawed. Yes. But are you at a place where you're even willing, even with being flawed, to wipe your feet out of a mat and say, God, I am flawed, but take some of this, take it now, start taking these things off of me, chip them away. And you're at a place where you're saying, God, I need a new start. Because I know that you create all things we do, so don't let me inhibit that. Don't let me get in the way of that. Don't let me patch up a tire anymore. If you really want to embrace who God is in your life, and you really want to encounter him in a way, do not allow Satan to make you believe that he's not existing. And don't allow it to become something that you put on a front as if he doesn't exist. Closing. Jesus, he saw Matthew. He didn't see the tax collector. He didn't see his family orientation. He didn't see any of that. He said, I see Matthew. He sees you this morning. And he says, despite of everything in your life, despite of everything that you are, your title, the things you've been, who you are, what you want to do, all those things, no matter any of that, none of that, he sees you and he says, I don't have to take another picture. I don't have to have a perfect one. It already is. I see you picture perfect. And here we are, a bunch of people in a room full of imperfect people. And he sees you and he says, you are picture perfect. If you want to live in the joy of Christ, imperfections, it's going to take you standing up and wiping your feet. You pray with me this morning? God, I thank you so much just for pouring your heart out the way that you do. God, I can never truly understand how you love me. God, that you love me to the places that no one else knows, love it. You love me. When you look at us, God, you see perfection, God, and you give us joy and hope, God, to get past our imperfections. God, I pray right now that we would have desire in our hearts to release that for the calling on our lives. That we wouldn't put you on hold any longer, God. That we wouldn't put a pause button on you any longer, God. That we wouldn't put a pause on you turning to the next chapter lives, God. That we wouldn't put a patch on a tire in our life, God, any longer. That we wouldn't put a patch on our lives any longer. That we would not be okay with driving around not knowing if something's going to be unsafe or not in our lives. That we wouldn't be okay living life without pursuing you and allowing you to come in and make all things new. Allowing you to come in and change us from the deepest parts of who we are. Father, I pray right now for the conviction of the Holy Spirit to move so deeply in this room that people will encounter hearing you and change, Father. Because you're the only one that does that. You are it. We find ourselves when we find you. God, we find ourselves when we find you. So, Father, I pray that you would just go with us, be with us, God, that every single person that's going to be encouraged knowing that you see perfection, you see them. Let them rise up to be the men and women of God they are called to be. Thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Part 2 next week and part 1. Be blessed. Hang out with someone, talk a little bit. Get your kids if you want. We'll do that. But just know this, man. When you leave this place, God's challenging your heart to do something different. Do it. Don't just sit on it. Do it. God bless you guys. So if you have any questions about the marriage retreat, I'm here. If you have any questions about anything